Right, since you brought up the issue of the Palestinian factions meeting here in Cairo, Mr. Osman, and you started with, let me here ask you, what kind of agreement should be made that would ensure from one part the big powers or the mediators or the guarantors and the partners, and does not at the same time initiate a kind of rivalry inside the Palestinian territories? What is needed there?
What is needed, Mona, is national reconciliation, of course, at the beginning. Now this is not a luxury anymore. This is a must. They have to reconcile and they have to reunite once more. I think that also the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad need to join the PLO. And on the other hand, Fatah has to be more open to the idea of Hamas having a role in governance one way or the other, or at least being part of the political sphere or the political spectrum of the Palestinian political landscape. If they choose to completely ignore that and pretend that they can move forward without one another, either factions, this, of course, will be a recipe for disaster, and it is exactly what the Israelis want. Now they have to come together and agree on the form of government, that the transitional technocratic government that is to take over the Gaza Strip after Hamas relinquishes power. Hamas did announce previously that on more than one occasion that it is willing to relinquish power. However, they have to put their money where their mouth is, as the old saying goes, and they have to take executive actions in order to do that. And it seems that there some certain understandings have been reached. Even the executions, according to some sources, have stopped in Gaza after the mediators, Egypt and Qatar, told us Hamas to cut it out because this is not helping, and this is providing the pretext for the Americans and the Israelis to, or the Israelis rather, to even obstruct the agreement and evade undertaking their obligations in accordance with this agreement. So I think now the Palestinian factions are being more responsible, more flexible at this point, and more responsive to the very dire situation at hand. Now the situation is completely different. We are in a certain situation where, for the first time since 1948, the Palestinian cause is facing an existential threat, and now they have to be up to the task and come together in order to reach an agreement on the form and shape of governance of post-war Gaza, and also in order to basically diminish the chances of propositions such as the international rule of Gaza, or the sort of modern-day trusteeship that the U.S. is proposing to impose on the Gaza Strip, which of course goes against international law and against the legitimacy of the Palestinian Authority as the legitimate government of the state of Palestine, which is recognized by 159 countries. They recognize Palestine as a state and the Palestinian Authority as the legitimate governing force of that state.